are absolutely smoked. We're looking pretty rough as well. I'm gonna assume it's good. Hopefully that's not a
mistake.
My 1983 tweaked my back.
Thanks, dirt.
Super exciting day. Got the second gear set in the mail. Start by saying this is not how you disassemble a gear stack. I'm replacing these two gears anyway, and this was extremely tight. This is a left-handed thread. You gotta have your tool set to the on position to get this off. My press is not big enough. We're gonna go borrow my buddy's press. All right, we got parts loaded up. We're gonna go press this gear set together. Just gotta do my intro. What's up, guys? Welcome back to the freaking YouTube channel. I'm kidding. All right, we got gear set on the press. We got the shaft built up. The hub was definitely worn, so that was pretty sticky. The engagement points, second gear, are absolutely smoked. First gear is pretty good. Second gear, engagement points were looking pretty rough as well. First gear wasn't too bad. Sleeve moves nice and easy. Everything's spinning as it should. So we'll call that a win. Thanks, Kieran.
No problem. Anytime.
We got the case here. I just cleaned it all out with brake clean, blew it all out. Gonna start restacking the input shaft here. All of this was already new on a rebuild, so I'm just going to reuse everything. It all looks good. The 1-2 is now rebuilt on this guy. So I'm just going to start on a time lapse of me putting this shaft back together. When I was stacking up the gear stack, I didn't notice anything in particular to note. Just making sure you take note of orientation as you get that piece put together. I think it's just the most important part. We're making good progress. I got a little bit of red Loctite on this counter shaft bolt. Everything spins nice. I got all the bearings looped up, little transfer gear in there. Got the pump all cleaned out, torqued up. I just did 8 foot-pounds on that. Spun the diff around, made sure the pump was pumping. And now I'm gonna put the pump tube in, and I'm gonna start reassembling the reverse engagement and all of the shift forks and all that fun stuff. Then once we get all that assembled, I'll throw the case on. I got the detent bolts marked with the springs. Seems like a lot of the springs are different, so I made sure not to mess that up. So I'll keep time lapsing, keep getting this together. I made note of this cone washer, and there's also a cone washer on the input shaft in this transmission. I just took note of the witness marks and realigned it as I saw when I took it apart. The one thing I messed up on was putting the reverse engagement hub on backwards. So when I put everything together, it was not shifting into reverse. And the shift fork goes in at the same time as the reverse engagement. There's multiple washers and thrust bearings in there as well, so I made sure not to mess up the placement of those, as well as that shaft has oiling holes that only go one way, so that's another thing. The holes will be at the bottom. Cone washer, the small diameter will be facing upwards, and it sits at the bottom of the gear stack. Speaking of washers, on the transfer case gear, there is a washer that sits on top. I will highlight what I'm talking about. I have assembled this completely without missing anything. I did take some pictures before. It's definitely easier to get these forks all in with two hands. So thanks again, Maya, helping me out. Now I'm just gonna reassemble the filter housing. There, I cleaned it out. And I'll be looking at getting the case put on. All right, had to take it apart 37 times, but we got it. I had the hub on reverse backwards, so that was sticking, but now we got, I'm not sure if this is first or second, that gear and that gear. We'll test out 3-4. 5-6, and reverse. No grinding or weird sounds. I think I got this thing built right. I put the new throwout bearing on. The old one was not good after 30,000 K. Which is really disappointing. So now I'm gonna get the case sealed, do a final install, get all the sensors sealed up, put the reverse lockout in, and call this done. Most important thing to note is the detent springs. When I took it apart, I made sure to label them. They all seem like they're just a little bit different. Got this transmission fully assembled, bench tested. I'm gonna assume it's good. Hopefully that's not a mistake. We got the engine and transmission together. I didn't film much of the internal transmission stuff. I just wanted to get her done. Left the heater on, Honda bond secured up. We're gonna use my 1983 ATC 110 to get her done. That was way harder than it needed to be.
Thanks, Dirt.
We got her loaded up. We're gonna bring it around front now. Didn't feel much. Been messing around in the
Dirt.
We got the engine on the ground. Don't have a car lift, so I jacked it way up. I used a ratchet strap and a smart car to pull the engine under, and then I'm dropping the car down as far as I can. And then I have an engine cradle I'm gonna put across the top and hopefully lift this engine into place with 2 mounts. All right, we made some really good progress. I got everything plugged in, batteries in, just kind of mocked it up. Engine is loose, don't have the subframe in. Not gonna lie, already started it, just in case something catastrophic happened. But seems to be running good. Everything's looking nice and dry. I'll go ahead and fire it up. Wait, here we go. Oh, bad ground. That'll do it. Oh. The starter seems to have an issue engaging. I just rotated the engine a little bit. Alright, I got the subframe pressure washed, ready to go back in. Probably gonna pull the spindles off to make it easier. Unfortunately, tweaked my back because of the
Dirt.
Seems to be running good. Pretty happy. Soon enough, we'll be able to take this thing on a test drive.